went outdoors. It is 2 weeks away from the 2024 Sturgeon spearing season on Lake Winnebago, and we are getting pumped. We're getting ready. We do this every year. A lot of you watching this video are like, no crap, this is what we do, this is what we get ready. But there's a lot of people out there that don't know what sturgeon spearing is and don't know what it all involves. So we are here on a nice, cold, sunny Friday. Like I said, 2 weeks from tomorrow it opens up. Very good ice. We finally got our cold weather. We're gonna have the big shacks out there this year, trucks. There's 15 plus inches of ice. Finally got a good year. Clarity doesn't sound all that great, but we're gonna find a spot to spear. That's what we're gonna do probably next weekend. We'll do some major scouting with the boys and find out our spot. Last week, Peyton and I got all our lats that we found every year when we're doing piers. We had a whole pile of them. Peyton painted them all up, put the Went Outdoors on them, so we have a nice big bundle of them. Today we got the shanty out of the field. Parker used the UTV. We brought it up here in the driveway like I do, like a tradition. I don't like to try and do it too early to jinx us, because if you do it too early, then you won't get the good ice, right? Just like building the shanty right before spearing. You don't do that because that's what everybody does, but you might jinx yourself. But this year we got this cold blast and it looks really nice all the way through to spearing. So I think we're not gonna lose any ice. We're just gonna keep making it. We got the shanty up here. We got it all cleaned out. I cleaned out the back of the truck. We got all of our gear up here. We're gonna go through our spears. We're gonna build my little shelf I always do in the truck. It works out great for us just to organize stuff because I have a lot of stuff, like everybody does when it comes to spearing. The saws all ready. I took them to Bob's here in Fond du Lac. They always do a great job getting them all ready. We got some new stuff for them that we're gonna use this year, some new gas oil mixture. We got the drill, we got the gas, we got the push poles, we got the spears all ready. We're gonna sharpen them up, lube them up. Then we're gonna build this shelf. We're gonna light the heaters in all the shanties. I got the heater going in this shanty real nice. Let's take a peek in here. We got a new sturgeon on the outside here. Went outdoors. I did some caulking. I got the flag up. I got my light up, so when you get in the morning, you get some light. Kind of works pretty nice. It's a solar power. So here we are in the shanty. I cleaned it a little bit. Smells really good. And we got the Jackery powering our light source here, and it powers USB. I've used this for quite a few years now when we're musky fishing or doing whatever. I kind of want to get a bigger one actually, but it'll last all day, powering cameras, powering everything. Got the rope lighting up here. The heater, like I said, is going really well. It's really warm in here. This thing, knock on wood, I've had for about, it's going on like 8-9 years now, and I haven't had a mouse turd in here at all. It's sealed up pretty good. We keep good care of it, so they're expensive, so we made it to be comfortable, and right. But it's what they call a bow frame shack here. You just pull down on the wheels here. The frame goes down, they latch on there, then it's up on the wheels. Pull it to the lake, unlatch it, pull the frame up, the whole thing just settles back down on the ice. Really nice, pulls extremely well. Sam will bring his from Rhinelander every year, pulls it down the highway like nothing. Our other shanties are a couple runner shacks. We got the Nover, which has been around for about 30 years, so we cannot get rid of it. That inside is not the best. We'll take a peek in there in a little bit. It's more like a mouse house in there, but it's a lucky shack. Almost everyone in our group speared a fish out of there. It used to be on wheels. I cut the wheels off because the frame broke, put it on runners. It's still limping along really good every year. My father-in-law, Tara's dad's shanty, he passed away, built it really nice, and so we kind of inherited it. So that's Tara's shack now. We're finally gonna get it out. This year, the last couple years, the ice has been very bad. We didn't get the big shack out at all. We were using portables last year. The year before, I think we got it out, but the west shore was really bad, so we got to go around to the east side. I think it was. We were on Poigan. So we got a lot of work to do. Let's get this rolling here, then we'll be ready. We'll be set. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make this shelf in the back here. We just put a couple 2x6s or 2x4s, whatever, staggering. I got an old piece of plywood. I put it up there, so like I said, it doubles the space in the back of my truck. So on top I can put like the lats for marking the holes, push poles, spears when we're going out spearing, and underneath can be propane tanks, heaters, shovels, like heavier stuff or whatever. But otherwise it's just one giant pile of massive crap, and this keeps it much more organized. We can just open the top, pull out our push poles, pull out our lats, our chisels, and all that stuff, and it seems to work really good. I put the auger in there, all the stuff. It just seems like I have a ton of stuff that I put in here, and including a big bucket for soda cans, right? That always goes in for some reason. If I don't have that bucket, people like to take their cans and throw them into my truck, and so like up in front is piles of cans, and people think they're funny, right? Real funny. Well, let's get this rolling. Parker's got the boards in there. We're gonna put the plywood in, and then we're just gonna put a screw in each corner, and that holds it right in place. It literally can't go anywhere. Can't go front, back, up, down. Keeps everything nice. Parker's just screwing her down, one in each corner. Yeah, we kind of I don't put a full sheet in. This side's open, so we can kind of put stuff in here. Seems to work really good. As I get older, it seemed to get, you know, smarter. Maybe, I don't know if it's smarter. It's just things that make my life easier, including people like this, right? To run around and do this. Because I used to crawl in there like that until this year, maybe last year. No, it's been a couple years since we put this in there. So this is nice, right? I can just boss them around and they can do all the work. What do you got? Pepsi running down your face? Got her. There it is. Parker's got her in there. It ain't going nowhere. I don't want to screw it into the actual truck, but this can't go back, forth, or whatever. Then we can start loading her up. Let's get on to what do you want to do next? Chainsaws?
Yeah.
Chainsaws. Let's do chainsaws. Alright, here's our chainsaws. This is a 394. I bought this like in 2000, so it's probably 25 years old, if not more. We only use it for ice cutting. These are actually big wood chainsaws. But these are just regular wood chains. They cut off the rakers for cutting the ice. This is like an older one, but it's like the newer ones, they put this guard on here. Can you see that, Parker? It's kind of like, and they do some sealing up in here because you're cutting water and they get it all in there. You can freeze up. That's why when I'm cutting, I keep this, after I'm done cutting, I keep it right in the back of my truck with the heater on. It never leaves there because when it's cold, it can freeze up. So I make sure my tip gets greased very well. There's grease guns on each one that instead of oil, because you don't want oil in your water like regular chain oil, so you use the grease. But I've been using vegetable oil once in a while, but the last 10 years or so is this BioPlus oil, vegetable oil based bar, chain, and loop. It works really good, and I never had a problem with it being in the water, looking oily or whatever. Works great. Then you don't have to worry about oil. Now this year I just saw that they have this stuff. I think it's been on for a little while, but it's a pre-mixed 2-cycle oil. There's some additives in there, and it's perfectly blended. I guess the firemen use it in their saws because normal oil / gas mixture for 2-cycle small engines or whatever, they say 6 months you should throw that oil away. So that's what I do every year is dump out the old stuff from last year and mix up fresh gas oil. But this is perfectly mixed, and it comes in a can like that. Like I said, there's other additives in it, and it can last up to 2 years, I guess, maybe longer. So this is what everybody's, and it's a little more convenient than having a gas can and oil and just these little cans. I get about 2 tanks worth. So I bought a few of them. I might need to get some more of them, I guess, because usually sometimes we'll go through, I don't know, half a dozen tanks for sure cutting in. But now Sam's got a saw, Adam's got a saw, Leroy's even got a saw. I've never seen him use it, but he's got a saw. We got a couple saws, so the work spread out a little bit. Back in the day, I used to cut about 20 holes a couple days before spearing, and I couldn't feel my back after that. But now I'm getting older. Other people have saws, so we spread the work out a little bit. So that's a little bit of our saws. I took them to Bob's, like I said. They ran them, they sharpened them. So this one's been around a long time. This is my 2nd or 3rd bar I put on this thing. This one has a 36-inch bar, which typically is usually plenty of bar. This has got the 42-inch bar. It's a long one, and but there's been years, and maybe this year, where you might need it. If we got 18, 19 inches of ice, and then you cut on a bevel on the edges, so now you're cutting through 25 inches of ice. Sometimes these longer bars you're needed. We haven't had that much lately, but this year we might. And I like these longer ones. You don't have to bend over quite as far sometimes, you know. Last year we could cut it with a little 20-inch chainsaw. People did. So I'm probably gonna get the big one out. They don't make them like this anymore. This thing cuts fast, very fast. It's probably not as fuel efficient. There's not as much regulation on them back in the day, but it's a good saw to have, and I'm gonna keep it forever. I think, as long as it lasts. But that's the saws. Should we run one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Huh? This is probably the manliest thing you can put in your hands. Look at this thing. Huh? Look at this. It's taller than you, Parker, probably.
No.
Huh? Let me see. You hold on to that once.
Almost.
Look at that thing. That's ridiculous. Those lumberjacks that use that thing are insane. And they have longer ones. There's like 7-foot bars or something stupid.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe Parker could cut one this year. You think you could handle it? Maybe you can use the baby saw. The little 36-inch bar. Yeah, just awesome. There's something very barbaric about this sport. And we'll get to the spears next. Probably the most barbaric part of this sport, huh? Spearing the sturgeon. So here's just a few of our spears, the 3 that we'll probably be needing. I do have a pile of extra ones over there. I do need to upgrade. I've had these forever. I can't remember the names of these. Carol spears, maybe. This one old Norby Harton made me. This is a little throwing spear, wood handle one. I've speared a ton of fish with this thing, but it's kind of like had its day. He's already had to replace the handle one year. I busted it because it got wedged between the 2 holes and I was fighting a fish. The head never really comes off that much, but it's a lucky spear. It's a little bit longer. My dad calls them throwing spears. But this one here is this a Carol? I don't know. But I always go over it all. Take a wire brush to the ends because this one, people tend to miss, or even if you don't miss, and you hit the fish, sometimes it still goes into the mud. So you just want to clean them off a little bit. We could take the grinder to them we have to sharpen them, but I mean, these things are heavy, and you don't even have to throw them very hard, and they'll go into the fish no problem. I've never had one, knock on wood, like pull off, but they do pull off if you don't hit it right.
Unless you hit it in the head or something.
Yeah, if you hit it in the head, sometimes they bounce right off. Then there's flying barbs on here. They slide through the fish like this, so when you're pulling back on the fish, they expand and help from the spear actually pulling out of the fish. Parker's just gonna clean these up. You can see there's a little mud on it. I think this one might have been used last year. If not, I don't know. Another thing we've always done, just to keep these lubricated, is put some Vaseline on there. I don't know if it actually does anything or not, but you want these to be freely moving. They get kind of gummed up in there, and you don't want them to freeze up. Most of the time these are hanging under the water anyways, but taking them from your truck to what, I don't know. We put this on there, rub some on there, Parker, just to kind of get in there where they're pinned in there, so you want to keep it freely moving, so that just kind of lubricates it a little bit. All right, Parker's got them lubed up. Here's a piece of rubber band because there's a ball bearing in here. This head detaches, and so you put a rubber band around here to secure that on there, because sometimes that ball bearing might release because they're hanging there, but that's just a little added extra support to hang that on there, and then the rubber band will stretch enough when the head detaches when you spear a fish, or it'll break. But that's one thing we always check too, because they're always deteriorated like you just said. But this head probably might be welded on there a little bit. See if you can get it off.
Ouch. Yeah.
On there a little bit? Yeah, okay. Let's get a hammer. Yeah, as you can see, they get a little rusty and welded in there, so we'll take that wire brush, clean this out a little bit, and where is the ball bearing? Here it is, right here. Right here's the ball bearing. Sometimes that gets a little corroded too. There's a little hole in the pipe here. Where's the hole? Right there's a little hole. That's where the ball bearing is supposed to lock into. This isn't like rocket science here. I mean, these are all handmade spears, and like I said, these are old. They've been through a lot, so sometimes they don't line up right anymore or work the best. But these have speared a lot of fish, and they work fine for us as long as we do this and take care of them. So we're gonna wire brush this up, put new rubber bands on them, and I always carry a thing of rubber bands. Where are my rubber bands? I thought I had a whole bag of them. Oh yeah, they're by the heater getting warm here. Some of these nice big thick ones, I got all different sizes of them. So if we get a fish, they usually break or we lose them, and then we gotta replace them. Parker, start brushing. All right, looks good. So I'll take even this Vaseline, can put it on there so it doesn't get locked in there a little bit. I don't know if that ball bearing works anymore or not, but what we should do is take these spears and sand them down and repaint them or something, because they're starting to get weathered. Let's put it on there, put it back on there. Let's see how it.
The bulb, it's right there. But
Yeah.
Just won't go in.
Yeah,
It
like I
doesn't
said,
work.
it's locked in there, but not the best. So that's why you put the rubber bands on there and make sure it's on. So the last thing you want is the head falling off when you grab your spear to throw at a fish. I've been there a few times. You can feel it when it locks in there. It comes off pretty easy, but they'll stay on for the most part. But after hanging there for hours in the water, it might, when you grab it, come off. So see, if you turn it a little bit, it does come off. So you don't want that to happen before you throw at the fish, right? That's kind of, you're not going to get the fish. But right there, I can feel it locks in. But you just take these thick rubber bands and then stretch it on there. And I'll probably do another one on the other side. And then we're pretty good with it, pretty guaranteed like it's not going to come off, right? It should stay on. Last thing we do is just check the rope. This has got plenty of rope on here. I don't know why there's so much rope on here. The Lake Winnebago is only 20 feet deep at the deepest, right? So spears are what, 7 feet tall. You really don't need that much rope. For some reason, this is a lot. I've never had one take out all the rope before. But I've heard stories, legends of big ones, you know, taking the whole thing out and swimming around, but I've yet to spear one that big. So then we have a handy dandy wood thing just to protect the tip when you're driving in your truck or whatever, so you don't stab your leg. I don't know if this is the one for it. Just goes on there. All right, rope looks good. You want to have enough slack in the rope here for the head to come off. We've had that before where it's too tight and it holds the head on. So you want that head to detach after you get the fish so that the head can stay in the fish. The pole just kind of falls away, and then you can fight the fish right to the head of the spear in the fish, right? So the fish can move. That's why we're lucky that we've got so many fish with this one when the heads don't detach. But then again, we haven't had many very big ones, and that might be a problem once you get a 100-pounder on and you're fighting the whole spear and everything. So, but we'll worry about that when we get one on, when we get a 100-pounder. But I'm just gonna wrap this up like this, and this spear is ready to go. So we'll do these other two, and then we'll move on to our other utensils. Next, we got up our push poles for pushing the big keg or cake after you cut the hole in the ice, right, with the chainsaw. You push it down with these. These are all homemade, just like everything is. Some people use tent poles, pike poles they call them, pike poles, I don't know. But I think Hussey made these. They're just some tubing welded on some angles here. Once in a while we'll sharpen these up so they can stick into the ice really good and you get a good grip, and you can push the cake under the existing ice, right? Put some grip tape on here. I used to have them like 10 feet long, but they didn't fit in the back of the truck very well. Nice having longer ones, but these are plenty long, or you can use a chisel to push down and have other 2 people push on them. This year you might need 3 because the ice is so thick to sink that cake, but other years, like last year, you could do it by yourself when you're talking about 8-10 inches ice. So we're just gonna clean these up there, sitting out in the shed. They got some mud cake down there sitting in the gravel. So Peyton's doing a good job. Then we got another step done, another step closer to being fully ready. Next up, we have our gaff hooks for gaffing the fish after you spear it in the hole, right? These things have saved many fish probably for coming off, you know.
Yeah.
the gaff at the last second, because that's the point where you're gonna pull it out of the water. Is when all the weight's on the fish. There's no more water to keep it. You know, this is when that's the crucial time where it's gonna come off. Most of my fish, I probably just lift it out. We always try and gaff them, but lately a few of the smaller ones, if you see it speared good, if all the tines are through the fish, I just grab the spearhead and pull it out. But these are nice. There's some at the Sturgeon for tomorrow dinner. A lot of people donate them, make them. Those like this are real long ones. I mean, what is this? It's probably 6 feet long, huh? Over 6. Yeah, it's 6 feet. So you can really reach down in the water quite a ways to gaff the fish. We won a couple of these. We haven't even used them yet, but we haven't had very good ice to get all the shacks out lately, so we'll need these this year. This is Parker's pink one, right? He wanted a pink one really bad, so we made it for him. No, we won that one. I think that's Mom's.
Yeah.
These are some Hussey specials. Like I said, everything is homemade, or somebody makes it. You can't like go to Shields or Fleet Farm and buy spears and gaffs. And so this is well, small gaffs is good, but this is just an axe handle Hussey special, huh? Both these. He's got a reinforced there. Yeah, they work good. We got a couple more of them somewhere else. I got some more in my shanty. So we have plenty of gaff hooks, which can never have enough, I guess. But these, there's nothing really to get ready for them. They're pretty sharp. These still have the protective ends on them when we just when we want them. These, you know, if they get rusty, you can just take a grinder to it, sharpen it up. But that is, ouch!
No.
That is sharp. So these are just gonna hang over there with the rest of the stuff, and then those are ready to go. All right, other things we need on the ice are chisels. Parker, pick them up. That one is just a chisel, probably for just like breaking shanties loose, to break the ice loose, marking the holes if you're gonna cut. A lot of our shanties now, I don't really need to mark the hole because we just cut it bigger than the hole and it goes on. But that's perfect for marking. Here's another short one. It's a pretty heavy one. Pry bar right here. These heavy duty, like an old railroad bar, wherever these are. I don't know where you can get them anymore. But you could never really bend that. It's almost impossible. It has been, but that's for like prying your shanties when they're frozen. Use it for if you're stuck. I mean, there's endless things you can use it, but that's like your power bar there, right? Power horse bar. I usually handle that thing.
No.
It's not really for little kids, huh?
I use it all the time.
We got a few other ones of these, other different ones, but everybody usually has one of them in their truck, either a chisel or a pry bar or both, because sometimes you get a lot of snow, ice. If your shanty's been sitting there for maybe the whole season, for a week, for days, sun gets on it, it melts, freezes, everything. It gets really frozen, so you gotta almost pry your shanties out of the ice and break them loose. And the only way to do it is probably with one of these. Those chisels are just too light; they're just gonna bend. Next thing you have is a shovel. Every truck should have at least 1 or 2 shovels. I have one of these. These old metal shovels are the best ones. They're pretty light, but they can scrape. So if you only have like an inch or 2 or whatever of hard, crusty snow, these will scrape it up to get for banking. Once you cut the shanty in, the hole in, and you put the shanty over the hole, you have to bank around the shanty so sunlight and air, it seals it up better. And a lot of years like this year, we don't have much snow, so you have to make use of, it might be a hard, crusty drift right there that you can shovel with them. A plastic shovel ain't gonna do it. One of those push shovels, you can use them, but that's not, you need something you can scoop, you know, scoop up slush, whatever. So these old nice metal shovels like this work perfect. Like I said, I got a small one like that hanging in my shanty. This will be in my truck, along with probably another shovel or 2. But especially years where we're cutting a lot of shanties in and hopping from shack to shack, 3, 4, 5 guys with shovels works great. You go around the shanty, bank it all in, move on to the next one. And then as the day goes on, the sun beats on your shanty. Sometimes it melts, and you can see light coming in on the hole. It's very annoying. So you go out, scrape the shanty, scrape the ice, get some more slush, whatever. Some years where there's no snow, that's where we take an auger out as well. We also use this for checking ice. So we can drill a hole, look for clarity, see how much ice is in there. But also as the year goes on, if there's no snow to bank your shanty, you can use that to drill some holes around your shanty, get slush up on the ice, use that slush to bank up the shanty. So we always have an auger or 2 in there, and nowadays with the electric augers, this thing is one of the best things I bought, the 40-volt lithium Strike Master. It's awesome. It's the light one or whatever, with feather light or whatever it's called, Elite. But That's great. You don't have to worry about gas, mixing, pulling, priming, all that crap. But then what is this, Parker? Pick that up. This is just a homemade ice inch depth checker. So you just got a nail in the bottom, drill a hole in the ice, hook that on the bottom of the ice, and then it's got every inch up to 24 inches, which we probably never get more than 24 inches on Winnebago. Parker's got a skimmer. This is a skimmer I won at Sturgeon for Mile Dinner this year. That was a major door prize winner, huh? You always have enough skimmers. I got some of these in my shanties too. Got a couple in a bucket for fishing. Peyton, show them the.
Disc.
This is a disc, a clarity disc, Ichi disc they call it or whatever.
I won that.
You won that. We have 2 or 3 of these. I had made some before, but these are nice. They got the nice rope on there and lined it up. You can go as far as putting like every foot. You can actually mark it so then you can know how deep you are. But this is for checking clarity. Drill a hole, look over the hole. Sometimes you cover yourself up, lay on the ice, put that down. If you can see that on the bottom, that's pretty good clarity, depending on how deep you are. And that's clarity checker. That's what we'll be doing next weekend. We're going out and drill a ton of holes, looking down the hole, checking for clarity, because we want clear water. We don't, a lot of people lately have been using the underwater cameras or live scope for spearing, but we have not done that. I tried it once when it first started happening, where people were using cameras in a very dirty year, probably 10 years ago. I didn't like it. Didn't feel like spearing to me, so I refuse to do it. So, but it's a common thing now. Like, technology is advancing, people are taking advantage of it. So it's all up to how people choose to use that technology. And Sturgeon spears are using it to spear sturgeon. I don't. Put it that way. So I just old-fashioned way look down the hole. I want to see the bottom. We'll put siding down, X's down, PVC down, stuff like that to see the fish go across. I'm leaving the cameras at home. We'll use it for scouting, sitting in the trucks, maybe next weekend. Drill a hole, sit there for a while, but I don't use it for actually spearing. Let's move on to the next thing. Here's the bucket of lats I was talking about earlier that we made up. Most of them I refined in the spring, putting in boat docks and piers and boat lifts, and we just repainted them, went outdoors on there. So look for them this spring on your shoreline. See if you can find one, let me know. But you got to mark your holes with a couple of these, and I like to paint them bright, and I put them in there good. I don't just stuff them in a snowbank or whatever. You want to cut them into the ice, freeze them in, because you want to mark them holes out there, because on some years in a good area there might be a ton of holes, and as the season goes on, you don't want to run at your truck or fall into one of these holes, unmarked holes, I guess. So we got them all ready. Propane tanks, huh? We go through a lot of propane. I usually keep a couple in my big shack, one of each of the other ones, and I like to have a couple extra for sure in case we run out or whatever. We got a bucket full of ice cleats and chains here, because it's slick year, especially when I'm cutting holes in. I always like to have something on my feet so I don't slip into the saw and cut my leg off, because that would probably put a damper on the season. I have to go to the hospital, get stitches, sew my leg back on. It would just be a mess, right? So I'd rather not cut my leg off when I'm cutting the hole in the ice. And then me taking everything I can possibly take. I always take an extra buddy heater in the truck in case one of our heaters goes out on our shanties, which has happened before. You get out there in the morning in the dark and you can't get your heater to work or whatever. The pilot light goes or whatever. So it's nice to have a backup one. I got some cushions I take out, so kneeling on the ice when we're looking down the hole, just check for clarity when we're scouting. I don't know, just nice to have them. Sometimes in the shanties, I like to kneel on the ground when I'm looking. I used to always lay on the ground when I speared back in the day, but I don't do that no more. So that's just some other random stuff that we take out with us. And like I said, my truck's gonna be packed full of stuff. Then we got the saws, the auger, but then I also have another, this is just a kind of random box of tools for my saws. This is the greaser for the tip. Some more lithium. These are some tubes that go in the grease gun there, which if it's really cold, I'll use that. But typically with this stuff here, you don't have to. And then especially with leaving the saw in the truck running with the heat on, it never freezes up. Pull starts right away. I never have problems with it, and it doesn't get too stinky in the truck. I put down some mats and rugs and stuff on the ground so it greases and stuff, and gas doesn't leak on the ground or on the bottom of my truck, right? Works really good. Now we're gonna work on to our runner shacks, the old nubber. This thing has been through a lot, but I can never part with it. The nubber, I've speared a lot of fish out of there. I've made a lot of memories out of there. I've also lost it on the road one time, came off the hitch, did a few flips into the ditch, pulled it back up on its wheels, and I speared out of it that year. But that might have been the last year it was on a wheel frame. It had, we moved it a couple times, but it had makeshift wheels here. You'd put a pipe on it, put the wheel up and down. Worked great, perfect shanty, 5x7, perfect hole. You pull it with four-wheelers, pull it with UTVs, snowmobiles, whatever. You can push it around. It looks like we got to put a couple more screws on the side here. Yeah. But it works great. And we put a new base on it before. It's even got a little deck if you want to grill out. It's perfect, huh? Door's falling apart. But let's look in here once. And then we open her up. Every year, oh yeah. Smells a little mousy. It's not. Is it? Yeah, so we'll have to like vacuum this out a little bit. Here, you do have siding in here. You got a gaff hook in here, a couple chairs, decoys, strings, whatever. But we'll, yeah, we'll clean this out. We'll pull it up in the driveway. So the old door on the nubber has always been a challenge every year, but you know, a board, a couple screws, move the latch a little to align with the door better. Good as new, right? Nubber is all vacuumed out. Pretty good. It's very spacious. It's got windows. Heater is heating. Doesn't quite look right though. The flame looks a little too orange, but it doesn't smell that bad considering it's a mouse house. It's got windows. It is a nice little shack. It's just how much you want to put in one, you know. It's a little spearing shack. That's all it's for, right?
It's lightweight, so.
Parker's gonna spear out of this year, probably. Get your fish out of here, maybe by yourself. You be scared?
No, unless it's like 150
Then you'll be
pounder.
scared.
Well,
Can I pull you in?
Huge.
Well, you better call your dad to come over and help.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, let's start the heater in Mom's and wrap her up. Here we are at Mom's shanty. Terry Wright's is her dad. I don't know if he ever got one out of here. He built it and then passed away, so he never got to use it too much, but it's very well insulated. There's lots of room. I want to try and start that heater. There's a couple cobwebs. That's about it. It's pretty nice for sitting for 2 or 3 years, huh? All right. Took a little bit, but heater is heatering, right? Heatering?
Yeah.
Mom's got her skimmer for clearing out the hole. Skimmer, a regular skimmer. Got chairs. She's got like a kneeler thing in case she's gonna pray. Right? That's what that thing is. It's a kneeler. Remember? For kneeling? She can one too. It's kind of a good idea. Bacon boards. Spot for her camera, her GoPro. Strings for decoys. Shelving. She's got lights in here that still work. We got a carbon monoxide detector, which ain't a bad idea to put in all your shanties because you get pretty sealed up in here. You have a vent right here, but tends to be long hours of sitting there staring at nothing, and you could fall asleep, pass out, and that happens. You're locked in here. Carbon monoxide furnace goes out, whatever. You might not make it, so it's a good idea. But there we go. I think we're all prepared for sturgeon spearing. Now we're just hanging out in my shack, right? Got it lighted up. We got the Went Outdoors on there, the Sturgeon on there. The Jackery's powering it all nicely. It is very warm in here. It was 91 degrees when we walked in here, right? I didn't even have that on high, so I got it on pilot light now. But it's drying everything out, and you know, cleaned it all good. There's a lot of moisture in here now. But Peyton's looking in our bin here. We got our siding down. I got 4 small pieces in there. I've speared a lot of fish over the siding. And then we got the lucky chicken. There's probably a cup in there, a crystal ball.
Cups right
Those
here.
are just random decoys. There's an actual decoy in there, an old one, missing all the fins and stuff. Just random stuff that I've used that I know they make really nice decoys out there right now. We've won a couple this year, I think, and they're almost too nice to use, but they're beautiful. People put them down. Anything that fish are curious, they come up to it. I've done well with the white cup or the crystal ball or that funky white chicken, stuff like that. So yeah, we're just finishing up stuff, and there's gonna be a lot of people in the next week or two, maybe even this weekend, doing the same exact thing. Sitting in the shanty, in the driveway, probably testing out the cup holders that we got in here, stuff like that, running the heaters, just sitting in the shanty in the driveway. But we're set, we got everything ready to go. 2 weeks from today we'll be all cut in, probably sitting here game planning for opening day, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go in the lake tomorrow. Maybe we'll look down a couple holes. We gotta get moving. We gotta haul a couple of those runner shacks to the lake, but we just gotta figure out where we're gonna go. The only problem with the runner shacks is you gotta trailer them, so it's a lot more work. These are nice. You just hook onto it, pull them wherever you want. That's sturgeon spearing, and we love doing it. So anyways, Went Outdoors is ready. Hopefully we'll get some fish this year again. And I can't wait to get on the ice. So thanks for watching. It's all possible because we
Went outdoors.
we're kind of indoors right now.
Uh.
We went indoors to go. We went outdoors to go indoors in the shanty.
Yeah, but we're not in the
Because
house.
that's
Not
true,
in the
but this
house.
is kind of like a little shanty, like a cabin. All right.